and welcome to the first in the series of our 3D work with Inside Out Cymru and me, Nathan. Today we are going to make pinch pots using clay. I've got earthenware clay, but you can use lots of different kinds. Air drying is really good for this, good to do it with the kids. The difference between this and air drying is air drying clay has small nylon fibres in the clay. When you pinch it and hold it up to the light, you can see the sort of furry, and that's what interlocks and holds it together in the drying process. But the principles are exactly the same. So for today's workshop we will need a ball of clay. Don't make it too big, you need to be able to handle it nicely and get your fingers around it and all that. Also a piece of card, or this is just from a fajita pack, but other products are available. A cereal packet, that just helps when it's down to slide it round, really slide it round on your table. Anyway, apart from the clay, we've got just a few things here. Scissors, it's not to cut anything, but I'm going to use this to make a pattern, as with all of these things. A pen, sometimes if you look at the end of the pens, they've got a star shape or something more interesting. Pencil, not for drawing, but for scraping in the clay. And again, another pen for a different size hole. I've also got a little bit of a toolkit here. These have got star shapes, and they make pretty patterns in your clay. So the whole point of this is you can use things around your home to help decorate the pot. Let's get to it. Right, for this I'm going to invite you down to the table. Alright, so here we have our clay. First thing to do is to get acquainted with it. Really pat it, roll it round, get a nice ball going. Next thing we need to do is take our thumb and we're going to push it into the centre. Now, if your thumbs are weak, you can just take your time, a little twist. Don't want to go all the way down. You can see I've gone up just past my knuckle there. And I think this is probably a good point to start with. Right, we need to give it this now. Why did the lobster get barred from the pub? Because he kept giving it all that. So this is the pinching part of a pinch pot. You take your thumb and go in, and I'm squeezing with a squeezing motion. I am squeezing and turning with the other hand bit by bit until I make a full circle. I think I'm nearly round. So after your first circle, there we go. It's getting bigger already. I'm going to go again. In, squeeze and rotate. Squeeze and rotate. Squeeze and rotate. So already we have a vessel of some sort. Hopefully it will be a pot. Who knows? Most things will start with this shape. See there. Another good thing is to smudge up, as it were. So I like to put my thumb in and I bring my thumb up the inside of the pot, smoothing as I go. Just take your time. And the good thing about this is, if it doesn't quite go right the first time, you just roll it up and start again. here you can see I'm just giving a squeeze, but this paper really does help, because of course if you put that clay down on your kitchen table, it's going to be stuck and you've got to cut it to move it each time. So that's my little tip for the day, is put it on a piece of card. If you haven't got card, a piece of newspaper or magazine, and you can get this shape. I should point out in a minute, you don't want to get too thin or too high, because as it dries that's going to crack. So maybe take it a little bit thinner than that on the walls, but I kind of like it. If it does get a little bit dry, you can dip your fingertips in some water and you can smooth over these cracks that you can see appearing. This is just from it starting to dry. And as it dries, of course, it will shrink slightly. I can feel that there's a little, perhaps the base is a bit too thick. So I'm going to go in with the thumb and smooth it up again. This will end up with the bowl changing shape slightly. There we go. Just turning all the time. Water. I'm going to get a touch of water. There's one I didn't make earlier. Just a tiny touch of water, and that will help smooth out these cracks. Like with most things, you can always add a touch more water, but it's very tricky if you've saturated it to get back to where you want. So less is more. But again, this is all for fun, so don't take it too seriously. Right. I'm liking that. It's got a rustic charm about it. Right, on to the decorating. As I mentioned, just things that we've got around the house. So here's an old pen of mine, but that lid should give us an interesting shape. So I'm going to take the bowl, cup it here, and then all we do is press, and turn, press, press, and turn. The whole process of just handling the clay I find very relaxing. I might be asleep by the end of this video. And one more. There we go. So again, you can see that very quickly we can make something that's got a little bit of impact, which I like. At this stage, the bowl will still be quite flexible, which is good. Now on here, we've got ridges. I'm going to try and apply those around the top now. Let's have a look. Maybe it's too wet, but we've got some texture going, so I'm just going to go with it. Maybe still a bit too soft. There we go. Pencil. If you find your clay is too wet, you could always just leave it out lightly covered with a carrier bag or some cling film. Okay, what can we do with this? Let's put some basic shapes on. I'm going to add some lines to mine. Rather than digging the pencil right in, lean it to the side, so we're sort of pressing at an angle like this. It leaves you with a nice clean line. If we push the nib in too far, of course, we're going to be carving it out, and you'll be left with lots of little bits hanging out. Going on with it. What tools have I got left? What's this? Let's have a look. Alright, so open the toolbox. I've got one of these. So you could use a screwdriver or, gosh, anything really. Raid the cutlery drawer, or that third drawer down, which has got all that stuff in that you might use one day. Perhaps there's a handle of something that's got a nice print on it. Who knows? Let's give this a try. So this is a star key. Look at that. I kind of like that. Let's go every other segment for those. Try again. Every other. So here. Here. What do we think? I'm getting into this. I kind of like it. Next one round. 1, 2, 3. So some of those are deeper than others, but that's okay. That's all good. Here we go again. 1, 2, 4, 7. Always odd numbers in design, like that. Looking good. Okay, so that leaves us with those spaces. What else do I have? We've used the pencil. We've used the star key. We've used the top of the pen. We've done some ridges with the side of the pen. What can I do with the scissors? Cut it out. Let's see if we come up with anything. I'm going to open them. I'm pressing my fingers together, even though the clay is in the middle. Yeah, could work. Let's try it again. Press. Lift. Press. Lift. Okay. Ooh. Do you know what? I like that. I like that a lot. From handling it, of course, you may have some fingerprints now on the inside, so very gently, little dab of water from a water pat here, out of camera, out of shot, and just smooth those over. All you need to do when you're happy with your ball is, if you're using air drying clay, put it somewhere to dry. The little square card, of course, will help us move it to a shelf or a windowsill. You can sign it at the bottom. Use your pencil to initial it. I think I might do that. I look at the label on my shirt to remind myself. What is it? It's N. Nasa. That's me. Reshape. I'm going to try this again on the top. We're a bit drier now, so that's good. I'm going to have my ridges on the top. Just rolling the pen around gently. If it's not stamping out enough for you, of course, you can add a little pressure. Let's have a look. Here I am. And this is my pinch pot. When this is dry, or when yours is dry, you can use acrylic paint to colour it in, or if you've got lots of texture, a technique I like is to get it into all those nooks and crannies and then wipe it off the surface, so these indents and these patterns are highlighted with the paint. That's a good technique. So there you go, that's pinch pots, nice and easy. These can be used for anything now. Put your earrings in, or your keys, whatever. Give it as a gift for somebody. But there you go. That is how to make a pinch pot. See you soon. Bye.